Movie review number 1307 is Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice is a 2005 movie directed by Joe Wright. This movie is an adaptation of the famous novel by Jane Austen. This movie has focus features and working title films, and I saw this movie on April 22nd, 2025 at Regal Cinemas 16 in Deerfield Towne Center in Mason, Ohio for its 20th anniversary. Wow, 20 years ago, this movie came out. Wow. And it definitely overseeded expectations. This movie is probably one that is based on a novel that is probably considered one of Jane Austen's greatest novels. So this movie has Elizabeth Bennet, who is portrayed by Keira Knightley in the movie, who lives with her mother, father, and sisters in the English countryside. She is the eldest of the family, and she faces mounting pressure from her parents to marry. When the outspoken Elizabeth is introduced to the handsome and upper-class Mr. Darcy, who is portrayed in the movie by Matthew McFadden, sparks fly. Although there is obvious chemistry between the two, Darcy's overly reserved nature threatens the fragile relationship. So, I like how in the movie, and at least the novel, Elizabeth Bennet has no interest in Mr. Darcy in the beginning. But then later on in the movie, Elizabeth becomes more attracted to Mr. Darcy and vice versa. In other words, they might fall in love near the end of the movie. It is a classic love story based on a famous novel, and I'm finally glad I got to see this in movie theaters. So, this movie also has Brenda Bethlehem as Mrs. Bennet, Donald Sutherland portraying Mr. Bennet, Rosamund Pike portraying Jane Bennet, Jenna Malone portrays Lydia Bennet, Tom Holliner portrays Mr. Collins, Penelope Wilton portrays Mrs. Gardiner, Judy Dench portrays Lady Catherine de Bourgh, Bourgh, Simon Lewis portrays Charles Bingley, Carey Morgan portrays Catherine or Kitty Bennet, Tarulia Riley portrays Mary Bennet, Rupert Friend portrays George Wrexham, Kelly Riley portrays Caroline Bingley, Tasman Merchant portrays Georgiana Darcy, Claudie Blakely portrays Charlotte Ruthus, Cornelius Booth portrays Colonel Fitzwilliam, Peter Wright portrays Mr. Gardiner, Roy Holder portrays Mr. Hill, Pip Torrance portrays the Hall Butler, the Netherfield Hall Butler, Mean Win Owen portrays Mrs. Reynolds, and Sonnet Matthews portrays Mrs. Bessie. So, there have been several Jane Austen novels, but I feel like Pride and Prejudice is probably considered one of the most famous novels from Jane Austen. And yet, I heard there were many adaptations of Pride and Prejudice, but this version is from 2005. It is a feature film from Focus Features and Working Title Films, directed by Joe Wright, and it stars Keira Knightley as Elizabeth Bennet. So the movie doesn't just revolve around Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy. It also revolves around the two families, the Bennets and the Darcys, as Elizabeth does with her mother, father, and her sisters, and how the sisters are also thinking highly of Mr. Darcy. And even though there was some chemistry between Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy at first, Elizabeth still doesn't really have any interest. But we see a softer side to Mr. Darcy later on in the movie that makes Elizabeth feel like that she misjudged him. and maybe Mr. Darcy misjudged Elizabeth. We get to see Mr. Darcy and his family, and basically, after the two of them meet for the first time, it definitely changes everything, not only for themselves, but also for their families. Now, maybe Mr. Darcy isn't the man that Elizabeth thought that she was going to marry at first, but maybe he is going to be the man that she marries. Only time will tell. So, yeah, this was really good. I heard it won a lot of awards when it came out in 2005, and it did. I am really glad this movie came back. I had some opportunities to see this in theaters, but I never pursued those opportunities. But now I decided to see it and I enjoyed it. It's really neat to see a movie that was released in 20 years ago, and knowing that some of the filmmaking style definitely changed differently when the movie first was released in 2005 compared to filmmaking now, as far as filmmaking styles and scenery. That's what I meant to say. But anyway, this movie is pretty good. I definitely recommend it. So that's my movie review of Pride and Prejudice. Please tune for this movie review. Alright, goodbye.